FAWSL Match Week 14 preview. So, if you'll notice, if you've been following my content closely, you'll notice I've been accidentally labeling each match week a week later than it actually is. For example, last week I said was the Match Week 14 preview when it was actually Match Week 13. Now, this is Match Week 14, so now I've got my numbers sorted out. Now I hope I'm making a lot more sense. But 10 matches remain. The top of the table's been getting interesting. The bottom of the table's also been getting really interesting. Let's take a look at the standings as of today. So, in the top spot, we've got Chelsea Women's Football Club at 32 points, the game in hand. In second place and tied on points but not on goal difference, we've got Manchester United also at 32 points. In third, we've got Manchester City at 27 points with the game in hand. In fourth, we've got Arsenal with 2 games in hand at 23 points, trailing closely behind Manchester City for that Champions League spot. In fifth, we've got Everton with 2 games in hand at 17 points. In sixth, we've got Reading with 15 points. In seventh, we've got Tottenham Hotspur, 2 games in hand and 12 points. Eighth, we've got Birmingham City with a lot of games to make up, 3 games in hand with 10 points. In ninth, Brighton Hove Albion with 9 points. 10th, West Ham's United at 7 points, 2 games in hand. 11th, we've got Aston Villa, 7 points with 2 games in hand. And then in last, we've got Bristol City with a game in hand at 5 points. So basically, all with games in hand, what's separating the top four teams is 3 points, 2 points in some cases. So it's getting really, really interesting. I think the race for the Champions League is going to be quite something to look for. With United and Chelsea being tied on points, this it just keeps getting better. I would contend that this is probably one of the better WSL seasons in recent memory. You've got close races across the board. This is really exciting to see, and it's really exciting to keep your eyes peeled and see how things are going down the stretch. What matches are going to be taking place this week, though, that might feed into those top and bottom table point differentials? So, first match of the weekend, we've got Aston Villa and Tottenham Hotspur. I've got Tottenham winning this one by scoreline of 3-1. Aston Villa hasn't been on very fine form lately. Tottenham, I would say, has been on better form. They've won their last 2 out of 3 league matches, and they only lost last week to Chelsea, who has just been stomping on everybody across the table. But I think Tottenham are really, really close to Reading, and they're going to want to creep into that sixth spot. So I think they've got a ton to play for this week, and if they win, it's just going to add to that momentum. So I've got them winning this one for match week 14. The second match of the weekend is going to be Manchester United and Reading. Manchester United is, of course, number one in my heart for those of you who don't know. So it's even more hurting that Tobin Heath is going to be out for 10 to 12 weeks. But I digress. I've got Manchester United keeping a clean sheet this week and winning by a scoreline of 2-0. I think since their setback against Chelsea, it's really rung some gears in their head, and it's going to keep them motivated throughout the rest of the season. So, will they win out? Hopefully, will they? Time will tell. It's the end of the season is going to come down really close. But for this week, they've done a really good job at doing clean sheets lately. I anticipate that continuing. They've defended really, really well. They've high pressed really well, and they've also scored when they needed to. They score enough to win. And with the top of the table only getting tighter, they've got more and more bargaining chips to play with as the weeks go on. And plus, Reading have only won one match out of their last five. So Reading are not in good form, and United are and have a lot more to play for. Moving on to the next match, we've got the number one team in the table, Chelsea, taking on Brighton. I've got another slaughter for this game. Chelsea will beat Brighton by scoreline of 4-0. I'll just say this: when you got Sam Kerr, Fran Kirby, and Pernille Harder all clicking on firing all cylinders, it's really hard to stop, especially when they're all on the same team. So just by that in itself is enough to convince me that they will handle Brighton pretty readily, especially since Brighton has been coming off of a loss to the bottom team in the table. So Chelsea are just going to keep cruising and they're going to keep winning as long as things are going their way. So moving on to the next match is going to be Everton and Birmingham City. I've got Everton winning this one by scoreline of 1-0. Neither team has been on really great form as of late, but I think Everton have a little bit more to play for. They've got Jill Scott now. They've got Alicia Lehman. I think Valerie Govan will find her form a little bit more going down the stretch, and I think they'll pick up a win here, a much needed one, because they haven't won very many matches lately. So, and at the end of the day, Everton are the better side, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt of this one, and I will have them winning. Oh, excuse me, guys. So, moving on to the next match, which is going to be the game of the week. This is going to be huge because it's going to be Arsenal and Manchester City. This is going to be a top table clash that I think will decide who will end up taking that third Champions League spot. Whoever wins this one, I think, is going to ride that momentum to the end of the season and end up being in that third Champions League spot. So, needless to say, this game is huge for both sides. And now that Arsenal have like 2 games in hand, if they win this one, it's going to be huge. What do these teams have going for them? Arsenal, they're coming off. They're going to be well rested. Their last 3 matches have been postponed because of COVID. COVID. I almost combined COVID and coronavirus. Because of the coronavirus pandemic going on, they missed a match, and then because of inclement weather, they missed 2 other matches. So they're coming off basically a month of rest, meaning that they will have a lot of time to work on tactics and recover their bodies. And in addition to that, they will have sights on revenge because if you were watching the last matchup, the reverse fixture of these two teams, you will know that Caroline Weir ended up scoring a last second winner for Manchester City to overtake Arsenal in a match which broke the heart of Arsenal and their fans everywhere. My heart goes out to you guys, by the way. That was a hard one to watch. But with I think Arsenal, that will be fresh in their mind, especially since the top of the table is so close, and they'll have that riding on them. However, they might be a little rusty for this game because, like I said, they haven't played in a month. From what I hear, things at the club aren't going so well from a logistical standpoint and from a morale standpoint, so that might play a big part in this as well. On the flip side of that coin, though, Manchester City, they've been riding this wave and they've just been crushing everybody. They've been playing really well. They're firing on all cylinders, so they might ride that form. This match is anyone's guess. All I know is it's going to be a high scoring affair and it's going to be a shootout. But at the end of the day, I've got Manchester City winning this one by a scoreline of 3 to Arsenal's 2. So keep your eye on that. That's going to be the game of the week. And then now the last game of the weekend is arguably the second most exciting game of the weekend. It's going to be a bottom table clash between West Ham's United and Bristol City. I've got Bristol City winning this one by a scoreline of 2-1. Now, Bristol City are on a 2 game win streak and are riding uh, this really great wave of form. West Ham has been doing the opposite and they've been losing left and right. Um, they're within 2 points of each other, so this match is going to be big. And you don't want to get relegated. Obviously, Bristol City have been sitting in that position for a long time. I would say West Ham is the better team here. However, like I said, Bristol City are hungry. They have a lot more to play for. They've been riding on this great run of form. And I think that's going to give them the confidence and momentum in order to come through and win this game. And plus, if Ebony Salmon is having a day, which most days she is, it's going to make a big difference here. And I think Bristol City will prevail and go ahead and win this match. So West Ham is on upset watch. I've got Bristol City winning this particular match. Whew. All right, guys. So those are all my predictions for the WSL Match Week 14 fixtures. What are your scoreline predictions? What are your thoughts on the matches? What's your game of the week? Feel free to jump down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts. And also, I will post an article detailing the match preview for this week on the blog, which will also be linked down in the description below. All right, guys. So with the second main topic down, let's get into